Have you ever carefully planted potatoes, nurtured them through the season, and then felt let down when harvest time came and the yield was small? Or maybe you've pictured baskets overflowing with rich, golden potatoes from your own garden, but assumed it would require months of exhausting labor to get there. What if the key to huge harvests wasn't harder work, but a smarter method? In this video, you're about to learn a simple yet powerful potato growing approach that experienced gardeners quietly rely on to dramatically increase yields while keeping effort low. You'll discover how to prepare the soil correctly, choose the best varieties, plant properly, care for your crop with minimal fuss, and harvest big, beautiful potatoes. No hype, no empty promises. Just reliable, practical steps that can turn your potato patch into a high-producing food source. 1. Choose the right variety. When it comes to potatoes, variety selection is not a minor detail. It's the foundation of your success. Picking the right type can mean the difference between a disappointing handful of small tubers and an abundant harvest that fills baskets. Before you even step into the garden with a shovel, you're already making one of the most important decisions of the entire process. Potatoes fall into three main groups based on how long they take to mature: early, mid-season, and late varieties. Early potatoes are the quick starters. They develop fast and can often be ready in roughly 70 to 90 days. These are ideal if you're eager for tender, new potatoes early in the season. Their thin skins and delicate texture make them perfect for boiling or steaming. Varieties such as Red Norland, Yellowfin, and Swift are well-known examples. They let you enjoy fresh potatoes while the season is still young. Mid-season potatoes take a little longer, typically 90 to 110 days, but often produce larger tubers. They offer a balance between early harvest and substantial yield. These varieties help you spread your harvest out over time, so you're not faced with digging everything at once. Yukon Gold, famous for its smooth, buttery flesh, and Kennebec, excellent for frying and roasting, are classic mid-season choices. Late-season potatoes are the long-distance growers. Requiring 120 days or more, they tend to produce some of the largest tubers and are especially good for storage. If you're looking for high yields and potatoes that will last well after harvest, these are your best bet. Russet Burbank, the iconic baking potato, and German Butterball, known for its rich flavor and dense texture, are standout late varieties. For gardeners seeking heavy harvests without constant effort, planting a mix of early, mid, and late types is a smart strategy. This staggered approach provides a steady supply over a longer period instead of one overwhelming harvest. You can enjoy small, tender potatoes first and move into larger, storage-ready ones later, creating a season-long flow of food. The next key factor is seed potatoes. These are specially produced tubers certified to be disease-free and vigorous. Starting with healthy seed potatoes gives you a strong advantage. Store-bought potatoes often don't perform as well, because many are treated to prevent sprouting. Choose seed potatoes that are firm and full, with several visible eyes, the small buds that will grow into shoots. Larger seed potatoes can be cut into pieces, but each section should contain at least 1 or 2 eyes. Cutting allows you to stretch your supply, but there's an important follow-up step: curing. After cutting, let the pieces sit in a cool, dry place for a day or two. This allows the cut surfaces to dry and form a protective layer, reducing the risk of rot once planted. Skipping this step can lead to losses before plants even get established. It's also helpful to match your varieties to your local conditions and kitchen preferences. Some types perform better in cooler areas, others in warmer soils. Some are ideal for boiling, others for baking or frying. By thinking ahead, you're not just planting potatoes. You're planning a harvest tailored to your climate, soil, and cooking style. Selecting the right varieties sets the stage for everything that follows. It ensures that the work you put into planting, care, and harvest pays off with the kind of crop you were hoping for from the start. 2. Prepare the soil the smart way. Potatoes are surprisingly easygoing plants, but they have one essential requirement: suitable soil. When the soil environment is right, potatoes grow vigorously and produce generously with little extra effort from you. They prefer loose, well-drained soil rich in organic matter. Heavy clay restricts tuber growth, often resulting in small or oddly shaped potatoes. Very sandy soil drains too quickly, leading to drought stress and reduced yield. The goal is soil that holds moisture yet drains well, with a structure that allows roots and tubers to expand easily. Begin by loosening the soil to a depth of about 12 to 15 inches. If the ground is compacted, a broad fork is a helpful tool. Insert it, rock it gently, and lift slightly to create air spaces without fully turning the soil. This approach preserves soil structure and beneficial organisms while improving root access. Next, enrich the soil. Potatoes use a lot of nutrients, so mix in generous amounts of compost, well-rotted manure, or leaf mold. These materials improve both fertility and soil texture, while supporting microbial life that helps make nutrients available. Avoid fresh manure, which can damage young roots. Adding bone meal or rock phosphate can further support strong root and tuber development. Consider growing potatoes in raised beds or mounded rows rather than flat ground. This simple change can greatly improve results. Raised areas drain better, warm up faster in spring, and make it easier to hill soil around the plants later. They also give tubers more loose soil to grow into, which encourages larger, cleaner potatoes. As the plants grow, you'll add soil around them in a process called hilling. Starting with mounds makes this easier and more effective. Tubers form along buried stems, so providing loose soil above encourages greater production. Adding mulch such as straw or shredded leaves over the soil surface brings additional benefits. Mulch helps conserve moisture, regulate temperature, and suppress weeds. It reduces stress on the plants and minimizes maintenance. Soil pH also plays a role. Potatoes prefer slightly acidic soil, roughly between 5.5 and 6.5. If your soil is alkaline, adding sulfur or peat moss during preparation can help adjust pH and reduce the risk of common issues like scab. When you combine loose structure, rich organic matter, good drainage, and proper pH, you create an environment where potatoes can thrive with minimal intervention. Investing time in soil preparation early pays off later with healthier plants and larger harvests, reducing the need for extra care throughout the season. 3. Planting your potatoes the right way. Putting potatoes in the ground might look straightforward, but the moment you plant and the way you do it have a huge influence on how much you harvest later. Potatoes prefer cool soil, not freezing conditions, so timing is everything. In many temperate areas, the sweet spot is about 2 to 4 weeks before the last expected frost. This gives the soil time to warm enough for sprouting, while still avoiding hard frost damage. In warmer regions, early spring is still ideal, as long as the soil isn't soaked. Waterlogged ground can cause seed potatoes to rot before they ever sprout. Seed potatoes are the starting point of the entire crop. These are small whole tubers or pieces of larger ones, each with at least one healthy eye, the bud that will grow into a new plant. If your seed potatoes are large, cut them into chunks roughly the size of a small egg, making sure every piece has 1 or 2 eyes. After cutting, leave the pieces in a cool, airy spot for a day or two. This drying period lets the cut surfaces toughen up, which helps protect against rot once they're planted. Depth and spacing matter more than many gardeners realize. Set your seed pieces about 4 to 6 inches deep, with the eyes facing upward. Allow around 12 inches between plants so tubers have space to expand. Keep rows 24 to 30 inches apart. This wider spacing gives you room to move between rows later for hilling and harvesting without disturbing roots. If you're planting in mounds, shape a low hill about 6 to 8 inches high for each seed piece. This isn't just for neatness. Starting with a mound helps drainage, makes future hilling easier, and encourages tubers to form in loose, airy soil instead of compacted ground. After placing the seed potatoes, cover them with soft, crumbly soil and give a light watering to settle everything in. Avoid soaking the area at this stage, since too much water can limit oxygen and slow root development. Soon you'll see green shoots breaking through the soil, the first visible sign that your future harvest is underway. From here on, the real yield-boosting method begins: steady hilling and mulching. 4. The powerful potato method: hilling and mulching. A common mistake in potato growing is leaving the soil level around the plants. While it seems simpler, it actually restricts tuber development, allows sunlight to reach forming potatoes, turning them green and bitter, and makes it easier for weeds to invade. The key to producing large, healthy potatoes is consistent covering. When the shoots reach about 6 to 8 inches tall, do the first hilling. Carefully pull loose soil up around the base of each plant, leaving the top leaves exposed. This step does much more than tidy the bed. Each time you cover part of the stem, the plant can form additional tubers along those buried sections. Potatoes naturally produce tubers on underground stems, so more coverage equals more potatoes without extra feeding. Continue this process every week or two as plants grow. Add soil in layers covering new lower growth while keeping the top foliage in the light. This gradual buildup expands the underground area where tubers can develop. Instead of only soil, you can use straw or hay for hilling. This makes the job easier and brings extra advantages. Straw helps hold moisture, reducing stress during warm, dry spells. A thick layer blocks weed growth, cutting down competition. It keeps the soil loose and prevents crusting after heavy rain. At harvest time, potatoes are easier to find because they're tucked in soft material instead of firm earth. Aim for 3 to 4 hilling stages over the season. Each time the plants gain another 6 to 8 inches in height, add more soil or mulch. By the end, the plants may look like small green shrubs, and beneath each one, a large cluster of tubers will be forming. For even bigger potatoes, try keeping the very lowest leaves lightly covered while leaving enough foliage exposed for strong photosynthesis. This balances energy production above ground with tuber formation below. If you want to give the plants an extra boost, you can lightly scatter wood ash or a small amount of balanced granular fertilizer during hilling. This isn't required since good soil often provides what potatoes need, but it can help in less fertile ground. By combining proper spacing, raised or mounded planting, repeated hilling, and mulching, you create a system that almost runs itself. Watering needs drop, weeds stay under control, and tubers grow larger and cleaner. Because they stay shielded from light, you also avoid green, bitter potatoes. In short, layering soil or mulch around your plants throughout the season turns a basic potato patch into a high-yield system. The more consistently you build those protective layers, the more generously your plants will reward you, whether you're growing small salad potatoes or large baking varieties. 5. Watering to boost your harvest. Watering sounds basic, but it can make or break your potato yield. Too much or too little moisture both lead to disappointing results. The real secret isn't how often you water, it's how deeply and how steadily you do it. Potatoes send roots down into the soil, and their tubers develop below the surface. If the soil becomes too dry, growth pauses and potatoes stay small. If the ground stays soaked, tubers may rot. Diseases spread more easily and plants grow weak, soft stems. The goal is deep, spaced-out watering. Rather than giving small daily drinks, soak the soil thoroughly once or twice a week. This pushes moisture deeper and encourages roots to grow downward instead of lingering near the surface. Deeper roots mean stronger plants, better resistance to heat, and larger tubers. Think of it like building strength. The deeper the roots, the better the performance. Watering matters most when the plants begin to flower. Blossoms aren't just decorative, they signal that tubers are forming underground. During this phase, the plant channels its energy into potato growth. If moisture levels swing from dry to wet, tubers may crack or grow unevenly. Inconsistent watering now often leads to oddly shaped potatoes that don't store as well. Mulch or straw over the bed makes watering far easier. It helps by reducing moisture loss so the soil stays evenly damp, keeping soil temperature steadier during hot weather, blocking weeds that would otherwise compete for water. As a general guide, potatoes need roughly 1 to 2 inches of water weekly, depending on rainfall and soil type. Sandy soils dry quickly and may need more frequent watering. Clay soils hold water longer, so you'll need to watch for soggy areas. Check a few inches below the surface. It should feel moist, not muddy. How you water is important too. Try not to soak the leaves, since wet foliage encourages fungal issues like blight. Aim water at the soil near the base of the plants. Drip lines or soaker hoses work beautifully, delivering moisture slowly and directly without compacting the soil. If you're using straw or hay mulch, first moisten the top layer so it can pass water downward. After that, deeper soakings a couple of times a week are enough. This pairing of mulch and deep watering builds a stable environment where plants grow steadily with less effort from you. The key idea is steadiness. Moderate, regular watering works far better than occasional heavy drenching followed by dry spells. Over time, this rhythm produces large, even potatoes that are easy to harvest and store. Helpful reminders. In hot weather, check below the mulch. The surface may look dry while the soil underneath is still moist. Avoid light, frequent watering that keeps roots shallow and tubers small. Mulch also shields potatoes from sunlight. preventing green, bitter spots. When watering is managed properly, your potato bed becomes largely self-sufficient. Plants stay vigorous, tubers swell smoothly underground, and the risk of splitting or disease drops sharply. Deep watering combined with hilling and mulch is the powerful trio behind big, low-effort potato harvests.